bruh, bruh, bruh. Well, hey there, everybody. So, this is a thing that I'm going to do because the next couple of weeks are going to be chaotic for me, and I don't know how it's going to impact this channel. Maybe a little, maybe a lot. Who knows? Who knows? And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through my entire collection of all of my things, starting with my Nintendo Entertainment System. I don't know what order I'm going to release these in. This is the one I recorded first. And so we start off with a winner. Oh, yeah, a game I like more than most people, and that is 10-Yard Fight on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah, this little mamma jamma is the strangest football game you will ever play. But it's fun. Actually, that's not necessarily true. There's a really strange one on the Vectrex. So, anyway, 10-Yard Fight. Starting it off strong. Then we go to the worst skateboarding game ever made. That is 720 Degrees. I hate this game. I hate the arcade version. I hate the Nintendo version. Why do I own it? Because time made me forget, and I purchased it. Anyway, yeah, this is how it goes. 1943, which I own, and I don't own 1942. Why not? Why don't I own 1942? Well, that's simple, because I always think that I already own it, and I don't. I just own 1943, which is also an excellent game, really good shooter on the NES. Here's a game that it took me years to learn how to enjoy. Adventure Island. I know people love this game, but like, I hated the guy's weird chin and how his legs moved. Like, it looked weird and it felt weird. Took years before I was like, okay, let's actually play this. And it's pretty fun. Anyway, Hudson Soft games, they're not always good. But speaking of good, here's a real hidden gem on the NES. Not enough people love this game. It has one of the all-time bangingest into the camera with my hand. One of the all-time. By the way, this is a janktastic setup. You have no idea how janky this is. I mean, I might as well be recording in the woods. And I've tried multiple setups, and this is somehow the best? What? Anyway, apologies for the audio and video quality. But Air Fortress banging soundtrack and multiple modes of gameplay, and it's super fun. And yeah, if you have not played it, I recommend that you do. Alien Syndrome. Here's our first unlicensed game, a little Tengen Alien Syndrome. Yeah, pretty cool game, actually. And I just love having unlicensed games. You gotta have a few. Here we go. Archon. I believe the NES version is subtitled The Black and the White. I originally played this game on the NES, or not on the NES, on my Atari 800 XL, which I still own one of those and love it because it's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, gotta have your Archon. It's like chess, but with fighting. Anyway, Osteonics. This is a game most people like more than I do because the hitboxes are terrible and the sword swing is garbage. It looks bad and it feels bad. And to me, that's like an acid test of a bad game. But people are like, no, it's fun. You just gotta stick after it until until you stop hating it and start loving it. Anyway, I never did. Here is a testament to where I got a lot of my games. This is Athletic World, which I got at a thrift store. And you can tell that because I do not also have the pad, which is a terrible controller. And they Yeah, I don't have the pad. I used one time, exactly once in my entire life, and I was like, "This is terrible and unresponsive." And people were like, "Yeah." It's like I had a friend who got the Power Glove, and I put it on, and I was like, "Oh, it's so bad." And then I played with it, and I was like, "It's so bad." Ooh. Anyway, speaking of bad, bad dudes. Are you a bad enough dude to rescue a president who has been kidnapped by ninjas? The opening sequence of the arcade version of this game is burned into my memory forever. It is one of the best arcade game openings of all time. For real. If you've never seen it, spend a little time on YouTube. You can find it and you'll be like, wow. Bad News Baseball. Yeah, super fun baseball game where the umpire is a rabbit. So why not? Why not let rabbits be umpires? There's nothing in the rules that says they can't. Here's Joust, but with balloons. Got your classic balloon fight. It's a fun game. I like me some balloon fight. Bill Barker's or Barker Bill's trick shooting. This one is a light gun game, and so I haven't played it in forever because I don't have a CRT. They are getting increasingly hard to find, and I want to find one that's like not big. I don't want a big CRT because I had one once that was so big and heavy we couldn't move it, and I literally had to smash it into pieces on my back porch and then carry the pieces out in a wheelbarrow. And that's how we threw it away, piece by piece, over a period of like a month. Because old CRTs, like a 24-inch CRT, that's like 700 pounds. It's so heavy. Baseball Stars, yeah, this is another fun baseball game on the NES. And I love, like, you can see that, yeah, I try to take the names off of some of these. Sometimes the rubbing alcohol works, and sometimes it does not. And so, yeah. Here's a not as good baseball game on the NES, but it's the first one I personally played, which is Bases Loaded 2, the second season. And yeah, I actually put a lot of hours into that game, but it's not that great. Here's a good beat 'em up that does not feel like Batman at all. Like, other than the fact that Batman is the one punching people in the face, there's no other like real significant Batman feels. It could just as well be like, I don't know, pick a superhero. Here's a hidden gem. Battle for Olympus plays like an action RPG, like a Zelda type game, only it's more side view, kind of like Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. But unlike The Adventures of Link, it's a lot of fun. Uh, shots fired. Shots fired. I did not like Zelda 2 as a kid. Will I come around on it? Because I do intend to play it again. Boulder Dash. I love me some Boulder Dash, but my favorite way to play it is the way that God intended, which is on the Atari 2600. But I won't say no to Boulder Dash on the NES. Bubble Bobble, near. Because, of course, you got to have your Bubble Bobble. I have never beaten this game, but I have put a lot of time into it. There are 100 levels, and some of them are crazy hard. Bump and Jump. Here's a game that is like maybe a generation too old for the NES, and you can kind of feel it. And here's one that, even though it's a generation too old, it's still one of my favorite games of all time, even though I'm garbage at it. Burger Time. Love me some Burger Time. All about the Burger Time. You'll see more than one version of Burger Time in my collection. California Games. What a champion of a game. Like, honest to God, I put hours and hours into this with my friends. I had a friend who had this. Interesting fact, I did not have a Nintendo Entertainment System growing up, but I had a lot of friends who did. Captain America and the Avengers, decent little superhero beat 'em up. Actually, truer to Captain America than the Batman game is to Batman. Wait, no, we did that one. Oh, these are somewhat out of order. I thought I had them alphabetized, but apparently not. Bionic Commando. Love me some Bionic Commando with his grappling arm. Or actually, in the thing, it's not his whole arm. It's just different versions of the Bionic Commando because, he's bionic. And so what makes him bionic? Let's see. Where does this go alphabetically? I'm going to try and alphabetize as we go, which means that this is going to be a little bit weird. Anyway. Oh, Big Bird's Hide and Speak. You want to hear voice synthesis on the NES? There you go. Terrible game. Voice synthesis of a certain age, of a certain vintage, that is not necessarily that great. Ooh, here's a winner. Blades of Steel. Yeah, Blades of Steel. I love hockey. It's my favorite sport. Been a Maple Leafs fan since I was 10 years old, 12 years old, something like that. And also big Phoenix Suns fan. So I only like teams who will never, ever, ever win a championship in my lifetime because their respective leagues hate them and refuse to allow them to win at all, ever. Anyway, Blaster Master. Oh my God, what a champion of a game. And I know that there have been some reboots and remakes and whatnot, and I really need to check them out because I love Blaster Master and I always have. Just a great game with a lot of different varieties of gameplay. Really a technically impressive game for its day, but not enough people loved it at the time. It felt like it was always a little underrated as a game, and so I'm glad that people know about it and care. Here's one that's not underrated. It's exactly properly rated because people love this game. There are many sequels, many terrible ones, a few good ones, but the original is always good. And Hudson Soft. So Hudson Soft does make good things, not always, but they do have that ability. Let's see, because now where am I? Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm alphabetizing as I go because some of these were out of order. Captain Skyhawk, another kind of technically impressive game because, just look at it. Just go look at what gameplay looks like. I will review all of these games in time. Given enough time, on a long enough timeline, I will review all of them. Definitely hit the camera with the game. What's this schmutz? I should have cleaned them all before I did this, but oh well, you get to see them in the condition that they are in. Here is a game that seems technically impressive until you realize that it is the most one-trick of all one-trick ponies that there has ever been. Castellian. Here we go. This stuff right here, Castlevania. Yeah. And here is not as much this stuff right here, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. Yeah. But over here we have a return to form, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Yeah. That's the stuff right there. Then we get our first Disney game. You all know, if you've been watching the channel for a while, I hate Disney. They are an evil corporation. Puh, on Disney. For real. They suck, and everything about them is bad. And has been for longer than you have been aware of it. I mean, go look up the writer's strike, or the animator's strike. Yeah, Disney, terrible people. But this game, pretty fun. In spite of it coming from Evil Corporation Incorporated. City Connection, here's another one that just, it's very simple and almost limited, but it's also super fun and kind of addictive. And it looks stupid, but it's really fun. The first time I saw it, I was like, really? Really? And then I played it and I was like, oh, this kind of hard. And I played it again and again because I was like, no, I can do this. Cobra Triangle is a really good boat game. There aren't a lot of really good boat games on the NES. There's like this and Micro Machines and another one that I am forgetting, and you can tell me about it in the comments because I don't think I own that other one. I don't know if I have Micro Machines. I think I've had some games stolen over the years. We'll talk about that extensively when I get to my GameCube collection. Commando, yeah, the arcade awesomeness of Commando. Vertical scrolling shooty shoot. Demon Sword, yes, a cooler cover than the game itself. Game's all right. It's an all right game. I have enjoyed me some Demon Sword. Anyway, that's the end of the first box of my Nintendo games, and I will catch you in the second box. All right, box number 2. We have a little up, down, left, right, B, A, start. I know I say it wrong. That was probably not the correct Konami code. Feel free to correct me on that. Anyway, Contra, it's a legend. I remember the first time I played it, my friend was so mad that I could never jump across that bridge, that first bridge that you come to. Yeah, because I had never played the game, and he'd put hours into it because I did not have an NES as a child. I bought my first NES when I was 20 years old. I bought it at a thrift store. It was $20, and it came with like 6 games. Those were the days. Those were the days. And then I got a lot of weird games in my collection because, yeah, when you're buying stuff at thrift stores, you just buy what they have because they're selling it for like $1. And some of these games are worth slightly more than $1. Crystallis, really fun, really cool action RPG. Arguably better than Zelda. Like, I know that's blasphemy, but like, it's a really, really good game, and not a lot of people care about it. My wife grew up with it, and she loves it. Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat, because racing games on the NES, some of them are good. Some of them are good. Here's another one from the Evil Corporation, and this is a really excellent game that's got Bionic Commando vibes. Darkwing Duck. I am the terror that flaps in the night. Digger T Rock, I don't remember too much about the gameplay. Seems Boulder Dashy. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Oh, it's got subtitle, Legend of the Lost City? Yeah, all right. There's a legend about that lost city that was lost. Double Dragon. This is BD's copy. So BD, I've got your Double Dragon, and I'm not giving it back. Just know that. Know that. Because it's one of the great beat-em-ups of all time. But an even better beat-em-up that I have from RGBEZ-1. I don't know who's... this kind of... Boy, I got to clean some of these up. I guarantee you the contacts are clean, but the cartridge themselves, some of them have been sitting in storage. Well, they've all been sitting in storage because when we moved, these sat in storage for a few months. I had to reattach a lot of Atari 2600 labels, believe you me. But anyway, yeah, Double Dragon 2, one of the great beat-em-ups of all time. Here is one of the most fun basketball games ever because, like, yeah, this and NBA Jam were the games that were like, what if we did basketball but made it fun? And then, like, yeah, now we've got 2K, which everybody's crazy about because it's like, What if we had basketball and it was super realistic? And yeah, that's not the same as just fun and barely basketball, but like fun though. Dr. Mario, my wife can beat you at this game. That is fact. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you live. I don't know anything about you specifically, but I do know that my wife can beat you at Dr. Mario because that is a fact. She is world class at that game. Actually, funny story, quick story. It's going to make the video unnecessary long, but here's a little something for the people out there who are single, still in the dating game. Here's a move that I pulled, and it's a good move. So I had an NES in college, and everybody was like, "What? You have an original Nintendo? That's so cool." Because that's the console that everybody my generation is super nostalgic for. And yeah, my wife was like, "Hey, do you have Dr. Mario?" And I was like, "Yeah, totally. You should come over and play it." I did not have Dr. Mario. I did not own the game. And then I spent the rest of the afternoon going around to all the video game stores in town trying to find me a copy of Dr. Mario, which should have been easy, but yeah, it proved a little difficult. But the copy that I own now is that copy that my wife came over and played for like 10 minutes and was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." But you know what? Guess who's married to her now? Yeah, me. That's right. Anyway, Dragon Warrior, the original. Love that game, and I am forever regretting somebody had all of the Dragon Warrior games on the NES for sale for like 60. Oh, I already did Dr. Mario. Going backwards. Back. Oh, and I didn't buy it. Same with the Mega Man games. Someone sold, I remember someone was selling all 6 Mega Man games for $100, and I was like, I already have some Mega Man games, so like I'll just complete my collection on my own. And I never did complete it, and now I regret that deeply. Anyway, here's the classic we all know and love, DuckTales. Great game, but Disney, they suck, and I hate them. So yeah. Anyway, here's a game that's weird. Dudes with Attitude, and it's got like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes on the cover for some reason, and then it's a puzzle game. Yeah, American Video Entertainment. Yeah, weird games. Anyway, but yeah, here's a absolute winner of a game, Excite Bike. Oh my god. And the first game that I remember that had like build your own level. Oh, what a unique and awesome thing that was. Here's a game, Fester's Quest. It's all right. It's pretty decent. It's better than you think that it would be. Unless you know that it's all right, in which case it's exactly as good. Freedom Force. Oh, that's a champion of a light gun game. See, this is the reason that I need to get myself a light gun again, because Freedom Force is excellent. And then we got our friend Galaga, because they did not release Galaxian on the NES, and I'm much better at Galaxian than I am at Galaga, but like classic arcade game, cannot go wrong with that one. What you can go wrong with is Gauntlet. Kind of tedious, this game, and this version, not as many playable characters, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. But what's not a pain in the butt is Gauntlet 2, because Gauntlet 2 has the full cast of characters from the arcade game, and it's a little less tedious than the first game, so that's nothing but positives there. When people talk about old school gaming hard, this right here, this though, Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts. And you know what? Like, whoever changed that should never stop getting punched because it's super confusing. I never remember correct. Ghouls and Ghosts and Ghosts and Goblins? Anyway, but yeah, iconically fun game, but hard as all the swear words I'm thinking of but won't say. Anyway, golf. Yeah. I own it. Gotcha, the sport. It's basically like paintball, but it's a pretty decent game, not gonna lie. Gumshoe. This a weird mamma jamma. I had a roommate in college looked exactly like that. If he put on a trench coat and hat, that is exactly him. Weird game. Pretty fun though. Weird. No getting around how weird it is. I do own a copy of this. No, I don't have the little robot. And no, I have no plans of acquiring it now or ever. Because it doesn't seem like that fun of a game. But it's one that I picked up when it was like $1. Hatris. Oh yeah, now you know. Now you know we're serious. We got Hatris. Strange little puzzle game, but it's fun. It's a good time. Heavy Barrel. Ooh, this is a good name for a game. And also just the idea behind it that you're like shooting all the shooties and you're collecting pieces of this super heavy barrel. Anyway, here's that game. I don't remember. I always think it's Hogan's Alley, but I could be wrong. That Hogan's Alley is the one that's like, you use your hands? It's like a baby's game. I always think it's Hogan's Alley. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I always think it's Hogan's Alley. Hide Lied. There we go. Yeah, I don't remember enough about this game. So I'm not going to say things about it and then be proven wrong. Ice Climber. Here's a game that nobody remembers that fondly. But somehow it's wormed its way into all of the things. All of the Smashing of Bros. All of the NES remixes and whatnots. Like, it's a decent game. But, like, nobody cared about it back in the day. Ooh, here's the other ice hockey game on the NES. Not as good as Blades of Steel, but still pretty solid and decently fun, and better at if you want to pretend that you're playing as the Toronto Maple Leafs. Iron Sword, Wizards and Warriors 2, which, because it's not Wizards and Warriors 2 : Iron Sword, it will forever be in the wrong spot in your collection. So thanks, whoever made that decision. Here's a fun one. I was very happy when I picked this up. Jackal, one of the great vehicular shooty shoot games. You ride around in like a Jeep and shoot all the things. It is fun. It's a good time. Got us a Wisdom Tree game. That's right. The religious variety. And this is Joshua, which is... I don't know if Joshua's that good. I don't remember, honestly. It's been a while since I played it. There is a really good Wisdom Tree game. Actually, there are a couple Wisdom Tree games that are fairly decent, but like Joshua, I just don't remember. Journey to Silius. Now, there's a good game. Pretty hard, though. Like, it's pretty darn hard. I did not do well at this game. I'm pretty sure I reviewed this one already on the channel. If I haven't, I will eventually, but it's a cool game. Here is a fun puzzler. Kickle Cubicle. Yeah, really fun puzzler. The kind of thing that I can even enjoy. And you don't have an NES collection unless you have Kid Nicky Radical Ninja. Because you got to. Let's see, what else do we have here? Ooh, King of Kings. This one is a collection of mini games, basically, and a lot of them are terrible. So, but at least you learn about Jesus, which is the point of video games. Am I right? Yeah, King's Knight. Oh, my brain is having a brain fart, so I'm not going to say anything about that one because I could be mixing it up with a different game. Kings of the Beach. This is a really fun volleyball game, and what it also is the last game in box number 2, and that's me shaking the camera. I'll see you in box number 3. All right, these boxes starting off strong because up now we've got this Mamma Jamma Kirby's Adventure. I love this game. I love this game so much. It is so impressive. Yeah, on the NES, like the things they were pulling off with that game. Crazy Creatures. Another American video entertainment game, which means it is of dubious quality. You got your weird shaped cartridge that's the wrong color, and that's how you know that you're in for some puzzling. Is a puzzle game that's like weird. Ooh, here's a classic, Gong Fu. And I have a friend who speaks Chinese, and if I remember correctly, that is how you pronounce Kung Fu. Gong Fu. I could be wildly wrong. It's a tonal language, and I don't actually speak it. But here's another fun Kung Fu game from Culture Brain. This is Kung Fu Heroes. The arcade version of that game is actually a lot better than the NES version, but whatever. Laser Invasion. Yeah, this is another vehicular combat game. Not as fun as Jackal, but, you know, few things are. Oh, I was for a minute. I was like, "Why do we have a game in the Fs in this box?" That's because it's not just fighting golf. It's Lee Trevino's fighting golf. We all remember Lee Trevino fondly. Anyway, uh, we got our Legend of Zelda, and I don't know what happened here. It may have been like that when I got it. Getting hard to find decent copies of this because the gold is hard to keep that gold over many years. Same with its sequel, which is in better shape because I don't know if it's based on how much I play them. I don't play this one because I don't like it very much. And I'm sorry, different strokes for different folks. If you're a Zelda 2 person, cool. I have friends who are Zelda 2 people. And yeah, I don't look down on them at all. Legacy of the Wizard, interesting game and pretty fun and kind of a hidden gem and underrated. Here's one that's not, like people know this game, right? Legendary Wings, pretty fun shooter. Ooh, here's a game that's better on PC, like the early like DOS version of this game, much better actually in my opinion, in the way that it plays. Yeah, just like that PC version better, but having it on the NES, pretty fun. Mock Rider, yeah, you don't have too many. You got this, you got Excite Bike. What else you got for motorcycle games on the NES? I don't know. Ooh, here we go. Here's a classic, Mappy Land. Yeah, it is a pretty fun game, but it is, relatively underrated. I mean, as people start collecting for the NES, because there's a million ways to play it. You get all these updated consoles that can output to HDMI and whatnot. You know, it's harder for a game to be underrated or to be a true hidden gem. Marble Madness. Yeah, this one, like the arcade game, you played with an actual like trackball, which made it feel like you were actually guiding the marble. But yeah, this version's still super fun and pretty hard in later levels. Actually, decent challenge. McKids or MC Kids. This is the McDonald's kids game, and it doesn't totally suck. So that's a win for a game from a large evil corporation. Mega Man, aka Rockman. Yeah, just a beautiful, amazing game. And even beautifuler and amazinger is Mega Man 2. Better soundtrack, cooler enemies, better in every way as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, and even better than that is Metroid, because I don't have any other Mega Man games. I told you I didn't finish my collection. Love me some Metroid, though. Yeah, it's from the Adventure series. Oh, goodness. The way that we used to classify games still holds up today. Mickey Mousecapade, I just have an early childhood memory of this game because a friend of mine got it from a video rental place and we were having trouble getting it to play. And he said to his mom, maybe it's screwed. And she slapped him across the teeth so quick and so hard and was like, don't talk like that. And I had never heard that phrase, and before or since, really. And yeah, it has a certain memory, even though it's from Evil Corp. Mighty Bomb Jack. Yeah, it's kind of fun, you know. Like at first, it feels like really this is all it does, and then you can get into it. Oh, but this one, legendary. My son loves this game. He do. It's true. The Mike Tyson's Punch Out, classic in every form of the word. Mule. This is another one that my wife played growing up. I never played this, but there are apparently many versions of this game out there on multiple different platforms, and I never played any of them, so I have very little to say about it. But yeah, she loves it. Oh man, just say no. Here comes Narc. No one had the guts until now to keep the kids off the drugs. Gotta keep them childrens off the drugs, if you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, the DARE program, the studies of the DARE program show that it actually introduced more kids to drugs than it prevented, so that's good. NES Open Golf. Yeah, I don't like. I think golf should be illegal as a sport for so many reasons. Ask me to go into it sometime. I'll rant on it. But like, golf video games are actually pretty fun. Not gonna lie. Oh, here is the NES football game that nobody cares about because, yeah, Tecmo Bowl exists, but this is NES Play Action Football. And here's one that I love more than most people. Because, man, my friends and I, we played a ton of this game. It's got those, oh, what are they called? It's the same kind of characters. I forget what they're called. Say it in the comments. Anyway, but there's a type of character. It's the same guys that you see in River City Ransom and a few other NES games, but they're playing soccer in this one. And, they got the big heads of the little T-Rex arms and they, kind of move funny. But this game is super fun. I love playing this game. Like, if you doubt that this is a good game, play it against someone else and see what you think. Also learn how to bicycle kick, because if you can pull off a bicycle kick in that game, you will feel like a champion. Uh, is it Ninja Gaiden or Ninja Gaiden? I don't know, and I don't care because it's a game about ninjas, and I like it. We were all about ninjas back in the day, be they Teenage Mutant Turtles, or be they, I don't know, any other kind. Operation Wolf. This game ruled in the arcades. And the NES version, still a pretty solid light gun game. But nothing like those Uzi controllers that they had in the arcade version. Popeye, this is the Arcade Classic series. Love me some Popeye. I have reviewed it on the channel, so the less said, the better. Paperboy, this is another classic. This game is hard. This game is so stupidly hard. You know, you're just delivering papers and everybody's out to get you for some reason. Yeah, break dancers and dogs and lawnmowers and whatnot. Pinball. What to say about pinball? If you think it totally sucks, it doesn't. If you think it's good, it's maybe not as good as you think. So, it is the very definition of mid. Go ask your kids. They know about mid. Anyway, pro wrestling. Oh my God, what a game. What a game. You gotta get Starman chucking people around. Oh, good times. Good times. And if you have Mike Tyson's Punch Out, you also have to have the version that is not branded with his likeness or image. You gotta have the regular Punch Out where you work your way all the way to the end and then you're like, who am I fighting? Some blonde guy who is definitely not Mike Tyson in any way, shape, or form. Cubert, classic game, hard as booty to know where the frick you're going to jump next if you're not playing with a joystick. Like, this is hard on D-pad. NES might be the wrong console for that. Speaking of unlicensed games, you know they're good when they got the Switch in the back. And it's like, if it doesn't work in position A, try position B. This is Quattro Sports, a terrible game that is no fun whatsoever, but it's shiny and gold, and I got it at the thrift store for a song. So there's nothing wrong with picking up terrible games as long as you don't overpay for them. Because, man, a lot of those, like, super rare games, not games published by Super Rare Games, but, like, games that are actually incredibly rare, are actually terrible, especially on the NES. Not all of them. I have always wanted a copy of Panic Restaurant and don't have one because it was too expensive when I was collecting. When I started this collection, it was too expensive, and it's only gotten more so. So, Racket Attack. It's tennis that I bought out of a bargain bin for hardly any money. Rad Racer. Oh man, yeah. I love these kind of arcadey racing games. Do enjoy them. Rambo. Oh man, I can't look at this without seeing Weird Al though. UHF just destroyed any concept of Rambo. Fun fact, they wanted to get Stallone for that scene. Oh, Rampage. I remember playing this at a friend's birthday party, and when we found out that you could eat the toilets, that is all that we wanted to do. We were a bunch of 12-year-old boys, and we were playing a game of where giant monsters can break open bathrooms and eat the toilet. Oh, what a good time that was. And finally, we're going to end this box on another unlicensed game. It's RBI Baseball. Is it good? Well, it's not bad. So there you go. Of course, the fielding is terrible, but we know this. Anyway, that's going to do it for this box. I've got one and another small box that has very few games in it. So basically just one box left. So you can look at the timestamp. You know that we're not going to be doing this forever. Anyway, next box. All right, starting off with another champion of a game, RC Pro-Am. I have been looking for a copy of RC Pro-Am 2 because that is the one that you can play 4-player. There are very few games that you can play 4-player. And I do have, oh crap, what's that thing called? The 4-play? Can't be called the 4-play. It'd be a terrible name. Anyway, but there's a device where you can play 4-player games on the NES, and there's only like 10 games that are supported by it. RC Pro-Am 2 is one of them, and I've never found a copy in my entire life. I've never seen a physical copy outside of like my childhood, but RC Pro-Am itself is pretty fun. Here's the boxing game that is actually pretty fun, but nobody gives a crap because Mike Tyson's Punch-Out exists. Ring King, there you go. And here's a game I was referencing before, River City Ransom. Whew, what a game, good time. Love it, love it, love it. Road Blasters, man, this game was cool, especially the arcade. Oh, just the idea of like driving and shooting and driving, like very, very simple concept, and we were easily impressed. Oh, you got to have roller games. You got to be roller skating. This is pre-invention of roller blades, because rollerblades did not hit the popular consciousness until the early 90s. Russian Attack. Oh my god, I love this game. I have never beaten it. It is so hard. But the feels on this game are exactly right, and it definitely takes me back to a time and a place. As does Rygar. Oh man, this is a classic game. With your like spinning yo-yo thing. Just unique gameplay that you don't find anywhere else. Cool stuff. They were trying things back in the day. Cycross. I don't remember anything about this game. Somebody gave this to me for free. There were a few times when I was in college where people found out that I collected for the NES, and they were like, cool, do you want all of my games? And I was like, yes, please. And nobody owned more than like 4 or 5 games back in the day, at least none of the people I knew. And so I'd get a few games, and then, oh boy, here's a beat up copy of Silent Service, a half-decent submarine game. Probably the best submarine game on the NES, if I remember correctly. But, that's not saying a whole bunch because I can't think of any other submarine games. Skate or Die. Yeah, this is why 720 sucks, is because this game exists. And not only that, but the skateboarding portions of California games. All of them are better than 720. Yeah, that's right. I've got a lot of hate for that game. Will I get rid of it? No, of course not. I own it. I paid money for it once upon a time, and now it's part of a collection that I refuse to break up. Sky Kid. This is a pretty fun, shooty shoot game. Pretty fun shooter. As is Solar Jetman. Conquer 12 alien worlds. Don't mind if I do. Wait, Trade West made that one. Yeah, for all I know about Trade West games, actually I don't know a lot about Trade West games, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I do know a lot of Broderbund games. Broderbund, Spelunker. If I remember correctly, this is like, Pitfall. except for the Pitfall that we got on the NES was terrible, and Spelunker, if I remember correctly, is not as bad as Pitfall, but it's still not that good. Spot. Yeah, the Spot from the 7 Up, because everything can be a game. This is the Chase the Chuck Wagon of NES games, but this official Nintendo seal of quality was like, we're not going to let you release a Chase the Chuck Wagon. And so the game is actually pretty decent. More than pretty decent. Spy Hunter. Yeah, another drivey, shooty game. Pretty cool. Oh, yeah. I forgot I even owned this. Good thing I'm going through these. Stinger. Yeah, it's a fun game. Really interesting concept for a shooter. Oh, and then we have Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt, and then we have Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt, and then we have Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt World Class Track Meet because I don't know, like because here's why. Here's how this happened. Is that this one I gave to my sister and her husband as a wedding gift because he's a gamer. And anyway, he just decided that he enjoyed emulation more than the real thing. And so when they moved a couple years back, they just gave me the Nintendo back, along with a few games that I had gotten for them, some of which are the only duplicates in my collection. Super Mario Bros. 2, aka Doki Doki Panic, recently played all the way through that one. I'd never beaten it before, and I was never a fan of Super Mario 2 because it sort of betrays everything that Super Mario is. But you know what doesn't? Super Mario 3. That's the game that got it right. That is one of the greatest video games ever made. Off-road. Decent game. This is one that supports the multi-tap. Nah, I'm pretty sure it's the 4-play. Anyway, but yeah, that's a decently fun game. Super Spike Volleyball. Yeah, it's up to you to decide whether Kings of the Beach or Super Spike is the better game. I don't know. I kind of like Super Spike more. Ooh. Then you got your tag team wrestling. Yeah. There you go. That's the stuff. You can wrestle and also tag team. Here's a crazy thing. I thought I owned Tecmo Bowl. Turns out I only own Tecmo Super Bowl. I don't own the actual Tecmo Bowl. I always thought I did, and now Tecmo Bowl is more expensive, and yeah, going back to buy it now feels kind of dumb, and so I don't. Here's a fun fact about this. If you go online right now, you can find there is a group of people who put out a new version of this every year with that year's official NFL rosters. And so they ROM hack it. And so like teams that didn't exist, your Tennessee Flaming Thumbtacks and whatnot, that were not a team. Your Houston were also a football team, they add those in. Yeah. Anyway, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the all Raphael, all Raphael action. But also this is the one that's like stupid hard and not nearly as fun as this Mamma Jamma, because playing this in the arcade, Turtles 2, the arcade game, which was just called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the arcade and had 4 joysticks, and at any given time you would just have to get in line with your quarters and hope that like somebody would run out so that you could be like, okay, I'm hopping in, because that game would be playing nonstop at your local Peter Piper Pizza or equivalent. Another motorcycle. Yeah, Thundercade. Haven't played that one much. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Tiger Heli, yeah. Played that more in the arcade than I have on the NES. Pretty sure it's an arcade game. If it's not, then there's some other helicopter-based shooty shoot. Yeah, this one is all about Doctor Who. Just kidding. I got this. Someone gave me this game, and I don't know if I've ever played it. Oh no, we've got things out of alphabetical order again. I'm not gonna bother. It's gonna mess me up. Sky Shark. Yeah, it's a shooty shoot, and it's you know Sky Shark. Snake Rattle and Roll is pretty darn fun. It's kind of like Marble Madness, except for it's Snake. And here's a game that is not for everybody. I kind of hate this game. Some people kind of like it, and they're like, bro, but you have to like play it right. Yeah, that's not a huge selling point on a game for me. Is bro, you got to play it right. But Solomon's Key, it exists. I have it, and here we have the best wisdom tree game. Bump a dum. Spiritual warfare. Yeah. It's Legend of Zelda, but you're converting people. And instead of killing them, they like go down on their knees to pray. Get your mind out of it anyway. Regardless, to pray, they pray because they've been converted by your hitting them with the sword. Super C. Admittedly, I have not spent as much time playing Super C as I have regular Contra, and most of the time when I put Super C in, I'm like, yeah, let's go play regular Contra. Oh, here is a classic. This is one of the other games I was trying to think of with the characters of that type, the same as River City Ransom, same as NES World Cup, Super Dodgeball. Yeah, this game rips. It is so cool. So much fun. Strider, oh my goodness. The arcade version of this is so much awesomeness, and the NES version is pretty darn good. There are other versions of it that are better, but you know what? The NES version holds up, totally holds up. This game gave us fits back in the day. Trying to land on that aircraft carrier, oh, so frustrating. But like aerial combat, we were all on board for that. Ooh, here we go. Here's another like gold. Try the A and B position, so you know it's gonna be gotta flip it around because label. Ultimate Stuntman. Yeah. If I remember correctly, this one doesn't suck. So, good on you, Camerica. And last one in this box, and then the next box has like 10 games in it. So, Urban Champion. Pachow. The cover is more fun than the actual game, probably. You know what? I'm just going to leave this rolling, and I'm going to grab that next box, because, it's right here, and, yeah, I'll edit this. But I'm editing this part out. You will not see this part, where I'm grunting and grabbing a different box. No way will I leave this in. Now I'm just challenging myself. Anyway, here we go. Vindicators, a really cool unlicensed game. Yeah, I like Vindicators. It's vehicular combat. And here's the one that's not next to Iron Sword, although it has eerily similar artwork. It's Wizards and Warriors. Yeah, I know people love the Wizards and Warriors games, but like I kind of hate the sword swings on them, and the platforming is a little too difficult for my taste. Wrath of the Black Manta, because it's got ninjas on it, and I had to own it. Ooh, are you ready? Are you ready for Mario games that don't have Mario in the title because it's Wrecking Crew? It's a single screen platformer and it's got Mario in it. So it's kind of going back to Mario's roots, but he's, part of a wrecking crew, which means he's playing on all of the backing tracks for Motown hits. WCW Wrestling. I don't remember anything about this. I really don't. I wish I did. I wish I did so that I could tell you things, but I don't. But WrestleMania, cooler cover, and Hulk Hogan. What a disappointment. Sometimes it is better to burn out than to fade away, which is just one of many reasons why Andre the Giant is always better than the Hulkster. That's just facts about the world. Deal with it. The Uncanny X-Men. Ooh, yeah. I love X-Men, but I haven't played this game because I'm afraid it will be terrible, and that will hurt my heart because I really do. X-Men's my favorite comic book series. Xenophobe. Don't remember anything about that game. Not gonna lie. Oh, here's another fun, commercial mascot game. Yo Noid. You gotta avoid the Noid. Man, we were so weird back in the day. If you wonder why we turned out to be such weird adults, look at our media when we were kids and how we had to avoid the Noid. And last but not least, Zanuck, a reasonably decent shooter, but it starts with Z, and I think I bought that game last, and it completed my A to Z collection. And then, of course, we have a random assortment of manuals. Boopadoo Wrecking Crew, is Simon's Quest, you Gauntlet 2, you Super Mario Brothers 2. Anyway, yeah, random assortment of booklets. And the only game in my entire collection that I have a box for, that I have the original box for, even though I don't leave it boxed because I want it in with the other games, Spiritual Warfare. Yeah, I have a boxed Spiritual Warfare copy for all those of you who love the religious games. Anyway, people, that's going to do it for this one. That's my entire NES collection. Thanks for being here. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.